Once again, this is your host, Caleb Gipson, and I'm bringing you another episode of The Road to Financial Freedom. I want to thank everyone tuning in and give a special salute to those of you who have followed the broadcast from the first episode. With only 2 left in this 15-episode series, I feel the need to express my gratitude and inform you that the episodes after the next one will be centered around law and real estate, and I'll even be presenting a special presentation solely focused on realty. Though I'm specifically interested in multifamily rental and syndication, I'll also plan on covering topics that concern single-family home real estate and commercial real estate also. But later in the future, I may also describe the functions and benefits of paralegal/legal assistance so that you can take advantage of the useful resources and save money on legal-related expenses. As for today, the topic is thinking of credit as money. This is important in today's society because in practical situations, credit is more valuable than money. In many situations, credit can adjust favorably, whereas cash will continue to lose value as inflation continues to rise. Plus, credit can be used as a way to generate money without having to invest any of your own cash beforehand. America is the ideal debtor country because debt is our main income accruing resource. And if you think, plan, and implement your mental design, then you can easily use debt to generate revenue, pay off that debt, build your credit, and prepare yourself for a fully digital economy. Without a doubt, the monetary system we know is going to change in a way that substitutes cash for credit or universal product and service capability. So if your credit is already stellar before this change occurs, in a sense you'll already be rich due to the fact that you'll be able to have nearly anything you want. The goal is not to get a lot of money. The goal is to have a high level of financial security. You can have $1 billion valueless bills or a particular archaic currency no one wants and still be broke and unable to afford the things that you desire to have. But on the other end of the spectrum, you can have no cash of any sort whatsoever, along with a credit score of 950 and obtain virtually anything you can want. I frequently expound the doctrine best summed up as utility over expense. An example of this is my preference of having 5 whole chickens from the local grocery store over a king snow crab from Red Lobster. Let's say this king snow crab is $26, and each one of these whole chickens is about $5. In that example, you can get 5 whole chickens and feed your family 5 times, whereas for that same amount of money, you would only be getting 1 king snow crab that can only feed you 1. So, though one option is more expensive, the cheaper option holds more utility. I'll almost always choose utility over expense because I now understand that a dollar amount doesn't properly define the product or service's value. Its usefulness is the adequate barometer for defining how valuable it is. However, don't take what I'm saying the wrong way. There are definitely other factors to consider, such as quality. Yet, to a large degree, how useful something is in terms of how many times it can be used and how effective it is at executing its functional purpose is the most important factor to pay attention to when deciding what to spend your money on. In the previous episode, I asked you to think of the ways you can manipulate credit to generate income. In that episode, I outlined the pivotal reason why building your credit and valuing it as highly as you value your money can be important to your financial success. But here's an example of how you can utilize credit if you did not tune into that episode. I myself have finished the paralegal certification program. Therefore, I have knowledge of substantive law, I'm a thorough researcher, and I'm able to draft legal forms. Plus, I have a lot of books that show me how to draft forms in various ways that meet the various criteria of various legal sanctioning bodies and systems, such as secretaries of state and certain courts. With this wealth of knowledge at my disposal, I decided to start a business as an independent paralegal, creating legal documents for the public. Of course, starting a business requires money, which I don't have much of. But pretend that I have a credit score of 800. Because banks have a lot of money and make more money off of the debtor system, I go to the bank I've already built a rapport with and get approved for a $50,000 business loan. Over a 5-year period, I paid the loan back and generate a gross amount of $550,000, which is $500,000 net that my business has profited, where I spent none of the money I actually had in my possession at the beginning of the ordeal. This is how you manipulate your credit so that it will generate money for you. And this is also why viewing your credit as something just as valuable as your money, if not more, can be beneficial to the process of getting rich. Without a doubt, our view of money on a consensus level has become distorted since many of us value the money itself more than what it can be used for. That sort of thinking indicates a lack of understanding and concerns of economics. Any true economist knows that every person is either consciously or unconsciously an entrepreneur, and what determines the degree of the particular entrepreneur are the choices they make. Savvy entrepreneurs make economic decisions that bring them the most benefit, which is not always going with the money. For example, when the German currency collapsed due to hyperinflation, a person would not have been a very savvy entrepreneur if he had preferred that currency over his global banking credit and chose to have 1 million German Reichsmarks rather than a credit score of 800. Simply put, finances, like nearly everything else, are to be examined within the context of the situation they are being decided and concerns of. An example, the economy of the place in which you live. So, when your goal is becoming financially wealthy in today's American economy, good credit and a solid social network are pretty high on the list of things to have. Therefore, if you don't have good credit right now and you plan on becoming financially free, I advise you to begin building your credit score as soon as possible. This could be as simple as financing a plethora of items and simply paying them off over the next 3 to 10 years. Of course, building your credit will take time, but it's definitely worth it, and the benefits outweigh the negative aspects. All it takes is a little diligence and awareness to keep track of how much your income is and how much your expenses are so that you don't get too trigger happy and start financing more than you can afford. One tip I have for people just beginning to build their credit is that they hold off on credit cards. They are definitely traps for those who are carefree. Plus, interest rates may be higher for people who don't have an extensive credit history. Well, as usual, I enjoyed convening with you for today's episode for the Road to Financial Freedom. Tune back in next week for the hidden and plain sight secret to expanding and making your business more lucrative. And with that, I now leave as I came. In peace.